We're made to believe that we're invincible, but it's not until you're faced with really difficult times and you realise that life is precious.
Adult male trauma.
He's got a partial degloving of both hands.
St George's, ETA 10 minutes.
He's got head on into a bus.
Almost totally amputated.
I'm not joking.
We're always so busy.
Well, they're open 24 hours, 7 days a week.
St George's, London.
Welcome to the madhouse.
One of Britain's busiest A&E departments.
Right, CT are ready.
We need 2 units of orneg now.
OK, this is really time critical. It's our job to look after you and worry about you. That we're going to find out what's going on with you, OK?
Thank you.
A place where life...
Success.
Love...
She's all right. She's all right.
and loss unfold every single day.
Love you.
Filmed across one 24-hour period, these are the stories of a nation and its health service.
Brave little man.
I'll never fully understand how people manage to get through one of the worst things they've ever had to deal with in their life.
God, I can't believe this has happened. So brave, isn't it?
You see people from every single walk of life, and it makes you realise the common threads of humanity far outweigh any differences.
Dave's had a lot to cope with throughout his life. He really, really has. He is a real survivor. Taking care of his first wife, I know that people will feel very, very differently about what should or shouldn't have happened. I know that for Dave and for her, it was exactly the right thing.
St George's recess. Yep.
A 69-year-old man is being rushed to St George's after developing severe pain in his right leg.
10 minutes.
Adult male surgical, ETA 10 minutes.
The man's wife is following behind from their home in Surrey.
It was a Saturday. The weather was fairly good and the grass had grown. And Dave just said, I think I'll just nip out and do the grass. He came in from the garden and said, my calf muscle hurts. I said, oh, just lie on the sofa, I'll get you a cup of tea and a couple of paracetamol. And within about 20 minutes, his face was contorted with pain. And his leg had gone completely white from the knee down to the foot. We both, I think, began to realise this is serious.
This chap had some sort of operation 3 weeks ago where he had stents put in behind his right knee. It's discoloured, it's got altered sensation and also a very thready pedal pulse.
When you hear that a patient has got a discoloured foot, the first thing that you'd be concerned about is an impairment of the circulation or blood flow in that leg. That usually indicates a strong suggestion of a clot. That can be devastating because it may completely cut off the supply of blood and oxygen to all of the organs, and that can lead to worst-case scenario death.
Yeah, so this is David, 69-year-old male. Approximately 3 weeks ago, he had a stent inserted behind his right knee, and then today he had a gradual onset of right calf pain. He has discoloration and loss of sensation in his right foot. There's a weak pedal pulse present.
Yeah, what did you have put in for your pop tail, sir? Was it a stent, you said?
Stent in the right knee.
And now you've got severe pain in your leg?
And
Pain
yeah,
in the leg,
poor
and
pulses.
foot is going numb.
Sometimes patients can have stents put in to allow better blood flow within that leg. And if you hear that someone has a stent fitted and has signs or symptoms of an arterial clot, then you'd be concerned that actually the stent has become blocked as well. Oh yeah, it's really strong over there.
Yeah, totally, yeah.
It's very, very weak over here. Can you feel me touching you here? No. It feels numb. This is a true medical emergency, so it's important to get the relevant people there for the patient as quickly as possible. Every minute delayed is a minute lost that may have serious consequences for the patient.
All right. I'm going to call the doctor. Thank you. So in pain.
As I got nearer to St George's, I was incredibly anxious. I actually prayed. This was the first time that I had really faced the fact that I might lose him.
Hi, all his notes are up there, and it's the right leg.
Vascular surgeon Kate has been called to resus to assess the lack of pulse in David's leg.
Yeah. Hi, Ev.
Oh, hello there.
I can tell which foot is the problem.
Oh, you can, yeah.
And
Yeah.
what happened?
I just got pain in my right calf, and then gradually the foot started to go numb.
And about 3 weeks or so.
3 weeks
you had
ago.
A stent put in this.
Yeah, you guys.
Can you feel me touching you?
No.
No. Can you wiggle the toes?
No.
That's happened pretty quickly, hasn't it? Arteries carry oxygenated blood from the heart to everywhere in the body. And so if you have a clot, the tissues in the leg, the muscle, can be deprived of oxygen, and then the dying tissue will release toxins, and that can go around the whole of the body, and it can cause all of the organs to fail. Okay, David, all right. You've done the right thing.
My wife said I'm ringing the ambulance. You ain't right.
She's a wise woman, your wife. Okay, well, I think we're going to need to do something about this, David. All right? Hiya.
Hello, Chris.
Hiya, hi.
You did the right thing.
Because it sounds very much as though a clot has probably blocked off the stent. Let me just speak to the boss, all right? Thank you. I'll be right back with you.
You did the right thing, my darling.
You're absolutely right.
But you're here now. You're in the right place with the right people.
Yeah.
Dave and I lived in the same road. We attended the same primary school. I had plaits, and in those days you had your own little desk, and in the corner of the desk was an inkwell, and he dunked my plait in his inkwell. We had an idyllic sort of childhood, really. Lots of woodland where we spent hours. We didn't even go home for lunch, just a jam sandwich in our pocket. I know. We all scattered at about the age of 18 and did our different things. I hadn't really seen Dave for 40 years. I had my mother ring me one day and say, "Guess who I've had on the phone? It's David from back in the day. He's asking for your phone number," so of course I gave it to him. It was so easy to talk again with one another. One of the things that we shared was everything that had happened to him in the past. And there were a lot of tears shed, both from him and from me, because that scenario was just so appallingly sad, and I just felt desperate for him, really. Oh, darling, you're going to get more pain relief in a minute.
Does Penny watch Love Island?
Yes.
They'd take me out tonight to see over 50s.
Oh, I want to see that. I think they should do like the, you know, like the Love Island. I think they should do something like that with the older people.
Oh, no,
I think it'd be
don't know
hilarious.
if I could, because
No, like
There'd be a hell of a lot
not older people.
Boobs swinging low and
saggy boobs and.
I'm bloody starving.
I am too.
Ravenous.
I think maybe I'll nip across and do a round of coffees for everyone. How's that?
I'll send you some cash, girl.
Hello, George's. Medical trauma. Yep. 3489, and it's RA. Thank you. Cheers, bye.
Adult priority, 11 minutes.
A 90-year-old woman is on her way to St George's after being found unresponsive at home.
Yeah, so we've got one coming into 3.
I think one of the things that you're always worried or concerned about when you're getting old is being in a position where you're at home alone, unwell, and there isn't anyone that you can call easily. That's the time when you really want family, friends, loved ones around you.
The woman's granddaughter is travelling with her in the ambulance.
I was at home when I received the call from her carer. She'd said that she'd come in to get her up in the morning, but she said she was quite hard to wake up. That was quite out of character for her, because normally she'd be up, washed, dressed, and be ready for the day ahead. So I knew something wasn't quite right. So I went over to her house. That actually was quite frightening because she couldn't really talk. Her speech was slurred, her mouth had drooped, she was tilted to one side, and she said, "Look at me, look at me." She said, "I think I've had a stroke," which just panicked me. And I knew that I needed to get her some medical help. But the paramedics examined her. They said she was showing signs of what they thought was sepsis. They were very concerned. Then they blue lighted us up to St George's.
Sepsis, guys? Yeah, into 3, please.
It was so worrying. It was like time stood still for a few minutes, and I just thought, this is it.
Okay, shoot with a hand over.
Okay, so this is 90-year-old Annie. So we were called initially for a query stroke. She was leaning to that one side. And we stated that she had slow speech. On our examination, she was found to be studying incredibly low at 78. I heard bilateral crackles on her lungs as well. Normally they're able to have a full conversation with you and know where she is. However, today, unable to answer simple questions.
That's fine, thank you. Yeah. Okay, just gonna have a listen to your chest, darling. You just breathe normally for me. It's very quiet on the right side, actually.
Sepsis tends to be a response to infection. Some of the signs of sepsis, such as confusion, slurred speech, difficulty in breathing, may also be exactly the same symptoms that you develop in a multitude of other conditions. And therefore, we also need to consider whether or not their symptoms are actually due to anything else.
So she developed slurred speech. So that's for 70 with LAS when they turned up with notable laboured breathing.
She's everything to me. She'd be the first person I'd tell things to. And to see her so vulnerable, I just thought, oh no, I'm not ready to lose you.
Hello, recess.
Doctors are concerned that a clot in David's leg is cutting off the blood supply to his foot. They're referring him to the vascular team.
All right, David. So,
Then we're going to go up to the operating theatre.
Yeah.
And what we're going to try and do is make a cut in the groin.
Yeah.
Down onto the artery. See if we can fish out the clot and get lovely flow. All right? The whole point of this is to try and save that foot.
Okay.
All right?
Fuck.
Yeah? Yeah, quite so. There's a risk of losing the leg, which is what we're trying to avoid.
Shit.
All right? Sorry to be so blunt.
Okay.
You hold on here, and I'm just going to get everything sorted out around you.
All right, that's lovely.
Good man. All right.
You are so loved, darling. You just tremendous.
Oh, no. I hate to think where I'd be without Chris. I was a sad, embittered, lonely old man. In my previous life, I had a very happy marriage to a lovely lady called Jill. She was a very vivacious person, always full of life. And, yeah, I just thought she was wonderful. At the age of 40, she was diagnosed with MS. There is no absolute cure, and for most people with MS, there is, over a period of time, a gradual decline. For the first 2 or 3 years, she was walking maybe with 1 stick, maybe then with 2 sticks. Maybe after 4 years, she then needed to use a wheelchair. It changed her life completely. She was a tough lady. She very much wanted to remain in control of her life. And she fought very hard not to be dictated to by MS. And Jill said to me that there would come a time when she felt that her life was too severely limited. And when that time came, she said, "Dave, I want you to know that I will take my own life."
We're just going to get you some more pain relief now, okay?
Excellent.
All right, just bear with us.
I was in such a shell-shocked state. You don't want it to happen. Desperately, you don't want it to happen.
Hang on in.
The first time I came in one evening, and there was a note on the kitchen table. "Dave, I'm sorry, I'm in the garage." But I could see that the drugs that she had taken were probably not going to work and that she was still alive. And I phoned the ambulance. And in a way, what that says to you is, doesn't matter what you do, Dave, you're going to fail. There is no way forward. She survived the first suicide attempt. But I knew there was no way that she would ever stop until she was successful in her attempt to take her own life. I wish that I hadn't been involved in the way that I was, but I have no regrets for my part in that.
Nurse is going to get all her treatments in and doctor will come and properly say you're all right.
Doctors have given Annie intravenous fluids and antibiotics in an attempt to fight the signs of infection.
Struggling, aren't you?
But they still need to rule out the possibility she may have suffered a stroke.
That's right, you carry on. I'm just going to feel a pulse.
Her granddaughter Francesca and her daughter Tamara have joined her in resus.
My lovely, I'm just going to take a sample out of your wrist. All right?
Okay.
Hey?
I've had enough blood today.
I know, I'm sorry.
When I was growing up, if she didn't like somebody, she'd always say how she felt. She would be herself in front of anybody. She'd act like one of the kids. She'd just play the games with us. Even with my younger sisters, she'd run round at the age of 90, chasing them up and down the stairs.
It's a lovely hat, but we'll take it off.
She loved to joke. I mean, she'd dress up at Halloween so that when the children would knock at the door, she would scare the life out of them with a witch's mask and a wig. And sometimes it didn't go down quite so well.
I'm sorry.
I think because she had such a hard childhood, I think she relived some of the fun things she missed out on.
No, stay still. Nearly.
She was born in Hackney in 1927, and she used to say that you're not a true Londoner unless you're born within the sound of the Bow Bells. She was one of 14. There wasn't much money, there wasn't much food.
You've got to have it, my darling. You're struggling too much.
And she seemed to be the one that looked after everybody. But I think that's what made her strong throughout her life.
Hi there. Hi, my name's Mohammed. I'm one of the A&E doctors here. Annie, how are you feeling? Do you feel comfortable like that?
That's better.
Okay, we can put it back on if need be.
Is it a stroke?
Is it a stroke? I'm looking into that. Let me quickly listen to your chest.
After the war, she met Charlie, my granddad. Charlie had come back from World War II, he'd lost a limb. I think she was looking for an escape from home.
Just breathe deeply.
They got married, I think, in 1946. Granddad worshipped the ground she walked on. He thought she was really glamorous, like a movie star. And then they had 2 daughters after that. She was very maternal.
Show me your teeth. Good. Puff out your cheeks. That's it. Yeah, very good. All the faces. Good. Well done. Well done. I think you've shown us all the facial expressions I could ask you for that. Does she have any lung disease from before? She used to be a smoker.
She smoked up until she adopted me, and I'm 42. So yeah. I'm a granddaughter by birth, but then she adopted me when I was 2.
I think she was quite a smoker as well in her day. Yeah. Really? That's a dedication to adopting you right there.
Oh, I think I owe my grandmother quite a lot, really. I mean, without my nan looking after me, I probably would have gone to foster parents. I was her daughter's baby. I mean, the real truth of why I was given up for adoption, I don't really know. But my grandparents took me on as their grandchild and become my guardian. I think for my nan and granddad to retire, to finally get their life to themselves, and then to adopt me and to take me on and start all over again. I mean, it's just amazing, really, what sacrifice they made.
She's opening her eyes, she's talking fine, she's moving her limbs, so I'm not too worried about a stroke.
What was it?
I don't have all the answers quite yet, but I think the most important thing now is your chest infection. So we've got the antibiotics, let's get her chest x-ray.
Thank you.
What's the strangest thing foreign body you ever thought? Like that's
An
the worst
entire
one, the only one.
magnum-sized jar of coffee. Carrot, big carrot. I've had
Like I just
a chair leg.
On that side. Let's have a quick look at this side. What sort of fly was it?
A big bottle fly.
I can't see anything there.
Are you sure it was 5p? Are we going to have to get it out to find out?
Hi, I've got a chap down here in recess with an acutely ischemic leg who we need to take to theatre ASAP. His name is David. If something happens to block the main arterial supply to the leg, our immediate concern is saving the leg. We've usually got 4 to 6 hours from the artery being blocked. He's got a threatened leg. I need to get him into theatre ASAP, otherwise he's going to lose it. If somebody's progressed to the stage where they're not able to move their foot, they're not able to feel it, and the pulses have gone, then time's very much of the essence. If we can get a CT on the way, I'd really appreciate that, thank you.
The vascular team have requested a CT scan of David's leg ahead of his emergency surgery.
But I think we're going to move pretty sharpish and get this sorted. We're going to CT first and then straight up to theatre.
MS gradually wore her down. If I went out of the house, to be honest with you, I never knew what I was going to come home to. It's a very sort of private hell. But if you love somebody and you've seen the way that their life has been curtailed, you just have to sadly accept that that is their decision. It is their life. It's not your life, it's their life.
Sorry, sir.
It's all right.
All right, David.
The third attempt, she'd taken drugs. She used a plastic bag and tied it with string. And that is how I found her when I came in one evening. I remember throwing myself on the floor and beating my fists on the floor. And I wasn't sure if she was dead, but I feared this time that at the very least she would have suffered brain damage. And so I checked the string around the plastic bag and tightened it, and then sat with her for, I don't know, about another hour. And I think at that point I realised that she was dead. And then I called the ambulance, and they then called the police. The moment that I mentioned what I had done, the temperature in the room went ice cold, and the police said, "David, I'm charging you with murder." You know, the thought that I'd murdered my wife just made me absolutely furious, and I knew that it would have made my wife furious. And at that point, I'd gone from a situation of emotional turmoil into a situation of turmoil and terror.
What is the result? They think it's a chest infection, not a stroke.
Doctors are concerned Annie may be suffering from a chest infection and have decided to give her an X-ray.
I'll see you later. I love you.
I'm going to come round there and sit with her. When growing up, we had a really close relationship. I felt like their daughter. It wasn't until maybe I was at school and the other children used to say to me, well, where's your mum and dad? And I used to say, but I haven't got one. Oh, you've lost it. Will you take it off? No, you must have it on. On a Christmas list once, I did put I'd like a mum and a dad. And my grandmother must have been reading this, thinking, I can give you the world, but I can't give you that. She did sit down and explain to me that sometimes situations in life are not always how they should be.
Melanie, I'm just going to take a quick X-ray of your chest.
When I was 15, I found myself pregnant, and I was so scared to go home and tell my nan. I thought she looked cross at first, and she sat me down and said, do you want the baby? And I said yes, and she said, well, that's it, I support you all the way. And she came to all the antenatal appointments with me, and she bought baby things, and I mean, she got quite excited. We all did.
Annie, I need to try to straighten your head for the X-ray.
I think I was near 8 months pregnant, and I had a bleed. And my nan said to me, what's the matter, what's the matter? And I said, there's blood. She said, right, that's it. And we jumped in my granddad's car, and he drove us straight up to the hospital. It seemed like Al was sitting there, it probably was only minutes, and they took me in for a scan. And unfortunately, they couldn't find a heartbeat. You don't think you're ever going to be told that this baby you've carried for so long is not going to be coming home with you. I was told that it would be better for me to go through a natural birth. So they induced the labour, and I gave birth. To actually have to go through a full labour, it's so difficult when you know there's not going to be a baby at the end of it. You go very numb. It's like you're looking down on everything, and you can see everything happening, but it doesn't necessarily feel like it's happening to you. My nan was there with me, holding my hand. She actually made sure that all the baby things were cleared from our home, because she felt that obviously to come home to lots of baby items would be very sad.
Oh, thank you. Very good.
Days and weeks after were a bit of a blur, really. She sort of made me eat, she made me wash, she made me dress. I felt like a zombie, I think. I was just going through the motions. I felt that that was it, my life was over. And slowly she kind of had to build me back up and show me that life does go on. You never forget. You just learn to live with that pain of losing a child. She was there for me at a time that I most needed her.
relax this arm, Annie.
Hello.
Hello.
Are you finished there?
No, not yet. We're just getting started.
What do you want this time?
Just a bit more blood. Oh, sorry.
She liked you till you said blood.
The medical team have received the results of Annie's chest X-ray.
So it's showing a lot of shadowing, which could be fluid or it could be infection. The bloods aren't all back yet, so it could just be a lot of fluid that's settled on her lungs, making a shorter breath.
Okay, darling.
You're not having more, are you?
I'm just having a look, but I'm gonna have to take it just a teensy bit more. I know, darling. I know.
What you go away? But I'll let you have this first.
Oh, thank you.
I went on to have my son Thomas, and my grandmother, she was so overjoyed when I told her I was pregnant. And she said to me, well, how far do you think you are? And so I showed her my bump. She went, oh, you're huge, she said. I didn't realise you were that far pregnant. And she was so excited. And she knew why I hadn't told her straight away. I think in my own mind, I thought if I just forgot about it for a few months, maybe things would be different, and they were.
All right, Puppet. What?
What are you telling me?
Are you finished there?
Oh, nearly. Oh, she's trying to get you on side.
I always worried whether I'd make a good mum, because I thought, oh, maybe I'll give birth and then not bond with the baby. And my grandmother used to reassure me, no, you'll make a good mum. I think she showed me what it was to love and to care for somebody. And she said to me, and you'll do the same when you become a mum.
You're going to take her to the medical ward, just go and get her notes together, and she's going to go on to a monitor. All right?
Yeah.
Annie will be taken to a ward where doctors will await the full results of her blood tests.
She's tired now.
Yes, it's been a long day for her now. She'd always looked after me, so it was nice to be able to care for her and maybe give back what she'd given to me all those years.
What's the matter? I love you too. I appreciate it for what you do for me. Well, you don't have to say thank you, it's fine. We look after each other, eh?
I think I'm amazed by people's resilience frequently. When we hear what people have had to put up with before they get to you, it can sometimes be terribly shocking. And you wonder how they cope. And it's, at times, terribly humbling.
So it's like contrast side to side, and then suddenly you'll see it just drop out.
Oh, there.
There, and then...
So that's an empty vessel, basically.
Yeah.
I felt I was living an unreal dream. The unknown of the trial ahead and the charge of murder, I was not in a good place. Subsequently, after about 5 months, I had a letter from a social worker who'd seen my wife after her first suicide attempt, saying, in a meeting I had with your wife, she explained that she'd made this decision about her life. That letter was a crucial piece of evidence.
Breathe in and hold your breath.
The judge said, though the law may attempt to understand what you did, the law cannot condone what you did. I was given a 9-month suspended sentence to a lesser charge of assisted suicide. It could have been so much worse. It was just a huge sense of relief to be free. By then it was probably a year when I was finally able to grieve. She had always been my world, and I just thought my life was over at that point. sir. I can move your leg, just here.
Yeah?
Yeah, perfect. Try and stay like that. My wife did leave a diary that I found, and a direct request to me was that she hoped I found somebody to make a new life with who could make my life a happy life and a new start in life. I feel very fortunate to have met Chris. Our paths crossed again at the age of about 60. I always thought Chris was wonderful. She was still the same person I remembered from all those years ago. And I fell in love again. We've lived together now for 9, nearly 10 years, and we got married just 3 years ago. I believe that Chris saved me. I'm very grateful for that, and I truly appreciate just how lucky I am.
We all done, yeah? Coming across, ready, steady, slide. Oh, sorry, sweetheart.
I think that Dave is one of the easiest people I've ever met to love. When Dave shared what had happened with his wife, my first reaction was that in a similar scenario I would probably have done exactly the same.
Good luck, sir. All the best.
Cheers. I've always known that one of the most powerful emotions is love, whether it's love for your child or love for one another, love for your parents. And actually, that emotion can override so much and get you through so much. When I waited in the corridor outside the theatre, it was a long, long, long wait. And that was one of the most upsetting things I've ever gone through, I think, is the not knowing and the waiting. And I think we're both very aware that this last situation has been absolutely life-changing.
I feel entirely positive now that, you know, that I will make a full recovery. I think things are going to be okay. I'm determined to enjoy what time we have together now, and that little things like a blood clot in the calf does not get in the way of that.
Once they put her on a drip, she seemed to have like a new lease of life. It wasn't until the next morning that I received a phone call. We came up to the hospital together and onto the ward, and the consultant was by her bedside. The results had shown that she'd had 2 heart attacks. And there's a part of you that knows it's going to happen, but there's also a part of you that would do anything to stop it happening. And you do just think, give me one more day, just one more day with them.
I held her hand on one side, my mum held her hand on the other. And then my mum said, "It's all right, Nan, we're all here now." And then she kind of looked at all of us and then she just went.
Looking back, I think I'd spent a lot of my childhood wanting a mum and dad and feeling that I'd missed out on something, and then realised I hadn't really, because I'd already had it. I miss her dreadfully.